Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, as always, to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel. Tonight it is the turn of the F4 League to take centre stage for round 6 around the iconic Circuit de Monaco. My name is Jake, and I hope you're all having a fantastic evening. To recap quickly on what happened at the last race, massive thank you for Harry for stepping in and commentating that one. The last race at the Yas Marina circuit saw Maggot take the victory, meaning incredibly we've had a 5th different winner in 5 F4 races coming into this one, with synchronously taking 2nd ahead of Tin Man, who took 3rd, both of whom had actually took their 3rd podiums of the season last week, so both those drivers in very good form indeed. And the rest of the points were completed by Brennons in 4th, Malc 5th, Richard 6th, Sab in 7th, Crittots in 8th, Mike in 9th, and Patsman taking the final point in 10th. Thanks to Maggot's first win, he's moved on to 43 points in the championship. He's now just 1 point behind championship leader Malc coming into this round, and the battle is very close for 3rd place too, with Tin Man on 35 points, 1 point ahead of the Alfa Romeo duo of Synchronously and Crittox. However, this will be Synchronously's final race in Invictus for now, as he's going to university next week and he will not be taking his PS4 with him. All of us at Invictus wish him all the best as he starts a new adventure, and I'm sure he'll smash it there, no doubt at all. In the Constructors, the three-way fight carries on too, as Red Bull still lead the way on 72 points. However, after a poor showing last time out, Alfa Romeo are now only 4 points behind them, with McLaren a further 6 points behind that. It is looking by far that those are the 3 main contenders for the team's title, with quite a gap behind them to the next team. Coming into this race, as we can see, we've got a dry qualifying session ahead. F4 newbie Party Trev was actually in the this week's press conference ahead of the Monaco Grand Prix after he finished 13th on his debut last week. Trev said that he felt a points finish was possible for him last week, but he couldn't hook up a good lap in qualifying and did make a few risky strategy calls under the safety cars that ultimately didn't pay off, and to top all that off, he also got some front wing damage towards the end that dropped him out the points. However, looking ahead to this week, Trev has admitted he's struggling for pace here in qualifying, and his main aim is just to try and keep it out the walls in the race, and obviously if he can do that round here, there is a good chance he'll pick up some points. However, he's very much more confident for the rest of the season, as he does believe he has some strong circuits coming up. All the best to him tonight, and hopefully he can get a good qualifying lap in here, because as we know, although I do have to keep it out of the walls, grid position is equally important. And of course, coming on to our venue for tonight, we are racing at the legendary Circuit de Monaco, a circuit based on the streets of Monte Carlo at the edge of a seafront harbour. As always, there's plenty of luxury boats and glitz and glamour in this part of the world, but the narrow walls are also very unforgiving, and as we've seen in the past, they can catch out even the very best drivers. We've got 19 corners that make up this historic street circuit, with 7 to the left and 12 to the right. A circuit length of 2.07 miles. It's by far the shortest circuit length we have on the calendar. However, we do have 39 laps ahead of us, and we should be in for a very fascinating race indeed. So we've got the first drivers coming out on track now. So let's have a look then at how they're going to get on. Ginger Tiger, who is just about to start his first lap of the session. Let's quickly just see what tyres everyone's on at the moment. We've got a few drivers coming out on mediums early on in qualifying. Both the Ferraris of Party Trev and O'Steven have come out on the mediums, as has C. Wilson in the Renault. But let's see what Ginger Tiger manages then as he goes up to turn 1. Gotta be careful not to run too wide there. It's easy to hit the wall on the exit. We've already got a yellow flag in sector 2. Looks like that's for an Alfa Romeo. I don't know if that'll be synchronously if it is. On his outlap had a bit of a mistake, but it's all clear now for Ginger Tiger as he goes into the hairpin, the lowest hairpin, the slowest corner on the calendar, taking usually just 35 to 40 miles an hour. As you're on full lock here, these cars can be very clumsy beasts at low speeds. And now into the tunnel realistically leads into one of the few overtaking spots on the track, where you do have to be pretty much alongside to have a good chance, as Tin Man sets the opening benchmark of a 1:12.3. What can his teammate manage here? A slight clip against the wall there, but he's continuing on with it. Goes through the final sector now. You've got to be careful not to cut that corner there. It's very easy to invalidate your lap, and Ginger Tiger now goes round the final corner. This has looked a fairly solid effort, as we see a bit of front wing there on the straight. And does Ginger Tiger beat his teammate? Yes, he does. Into the 111s we go on a 111.9. We've got Trev, who's just popped into third. Here's Maggot, who of course won the last race at Abu Dhabi. Will want to continue that good form. We have yet to have a driver in F4 who's won 2 races this season. Maggot will want to break that trend as he goes quickest on a 1:09.9, quickest by a full 2 seconds. That's a statement if I ever did see one. And Maggot has set the benchmark for the others to try and chase. One of the drivers who may potentially be able to do something about that is Malc, who I'm just watching here on a lap. Through the swimming pool chicane now. Got to be careful not to take too much curb on the second bit. Can unsettle the car, as well as, of course, invalidate your lap a little bit deep into Raskas, and Malc in fact does pit. So we'll go with Synchronously now, who's had his lap time invalidated, so he won't be improving at the moment. Let's go on board with Trev, who may be doing a second lap. Guess we're about to find out. Yep, so Trev round the final corner. Currently does a 1:13.5. Looks like this might potentially improve on that. It does indeed, a 1:12.4 up to 5th place. Goes ahead of Patsman, who set his lap time on soft, so that's a very decent effort indeed. Well, Maggot at the moment has set a quite blistering pace. Up front, a 1:09.9 is going to take some beating based on the early laps we've seen. And who have we got out on the circuit? Well, we've got Brennon's on a lap, so we're going to follow Brennon's round. He's just completed Sector 1 on an 18.5. It's a very solid effort indeed. And we've got Scotty in the comments, who's expecting big things from Brennon's, so no pressure for him there. It's a good job we're on board with him here to see what he can do. There's certainly a massive gap between first and second for drivers to put themselves in at the moment, as Richard pops it up into P3 on a 1:11.9. Cryptox in 4th. What's Brennon's up to? This looks like a very solid lap. This is looking good to fit into that massive gap in between first and second, and as always I have a habit of jinxing it, and unfortunately he did invalidate his first lap. The beauty of this track though, you've got plenty of time to get another run in, so no, not too much harm done there. And we've got Tinnis, who I believe is on a lap, so we'll try and see what Tinnis is up to at the moment. A driver who always looks to have really good pace, but just can't seem to string a result out. This is one of those circuits where really anything can happen, and where perhaps a driver who we're not used to seeing at the sharp end come to the front. What's Tinnis done on his opening lap? That's a very decent time actually. On the medium tyre, a 12.0 sees him go up into 5th place. We've got Nitrogash on a lap. Nitrogash has definitely been one of the pace setters this season, but has at times just not quite got the results his pace has warranted. Of course, Red Bull leading the constructors thanks to the scoring exploits of Malc and Nitrogash together, so... And they're in a good position to keep that going here. Obviously, this is Sync's last race, so Alfa Romeo are going to need a second driver going forwards, and McLaren have only got one driver here this evening, with Mileham being absent. So it is a good chance for Malc and Nitrogash to pull out some more points out in their competition in the constructors. And speaking to them in previous races, that is something that both of them are very keen to do. The constructors is definitely in their thinking. as Nitrogash goes round the final corner to complete his opening lap, and this is absolutely certainly going to put him in that huge chasm of a gap. On into second place, he does a 1:11.1. Good effort, still 1.2 seconds adrift of the excellent time from Maggot. Let's have a look at what Synchronous he's up to. Is he on another lap, I wonder? He is indeed. Follow him round. Malc has actually, interestingly, gone onto the medium tyres. We've seen him do this a few times in qualifying. He'll go out on the softs, and it's either if he doesn't like them or if something goes wrong in the lap, he will then try the mediums. So it's an interesting tactic. The Tin Man has just popped it onto the front row now as well, on a 1:10.9. They are edging their way towards Maggot's pole lap time, slowly but surely. And Ginger Tiger's actually gone up to third as well, so Nitrogash now down to 4 for 2 racing points, showing well here in the early stages of qualifying. Synchronously out the final corner, and that's good enough for 5th place, a 1:11.5. The times are coming down for sure. Interesting to see how Trev does. I think we just had another improvement now. It's Malc actually, who's gone up to 5th on those medium tyres, so that's a very good effort from him and suggests that he's going to have excellent race pace. Will he want to do a lap though on the soft tyres, because you don't want to lose too much pace here as Trev decides to abort the lap and will go again. And we've got another improvement as Brennon's pops it up into 3rd place in the Mercedes. A 1:11.1 from him splits the racing points. So if you've been slightly controversial, you would say it's currently a Mercedes 234. Brennon's, I think, will be quite satisfied with that and will want to maybe try and push for the front row as well. Clearly a lot of confidence here, but he does have good pace. As Richard goes round the final corner, looks like he's about to improve. Brennon's his teammate, of course. You know, he doesn't, he stays 8th. Is Mark going for another lap? No, he's not. Let's follow Osteven round. Currently on 1:14.7. He'll definitely want to improve on that time. No doubt about it. And he's currently 8 tenths up. Striking me at the moment as a driver who's not overly confident around this street circuit. This is a track that can make or break you. If you can't find the confidence around here, it's very difficult to gain it. Osteven is going to improve here, but it's only to a 14.0 and he stays 14th. He will hope for more. Patsman was improving but has unfortunately invalidated his effort. C. Wilson's up to 8th for Renault. We've got Tinnis now, just coming around the final corner. Is he going to improve? Currently in 11th place. But that's going to comfortably improve. Yeah, it does, up to 3rd. Very good effort from Tinnis there. A 1:11.0. I'm still astounded by Maggot's lap time. Currently on pole by a second. And the only one really who maybe might be able to get close to that is Malc, I imagine. Just because Malc did his lap time on mediums, which suggests he has a lot more pace in there. But Maggot might not even need to come out on track again at this rate. That's an absolute blinder from him. Oh, we're going to follow C. Wilson because it looks like he's still pushing. Although he's 4 temps down, so I suspect he'll probably just pull into the pits here. He's absolutely going for it. He can't discredit him from that, and he's gone for it too much, and he's gone into the wall at Raskas. A bit too much speed in there. Thankfully, he's next to the pits, and he's probably going to come in anyway, but some necessary damage that the Renault pit crew are going to have to fix before he goes out again. Have we got Richard on a lap at the moment? No, he's on an in lap, but we do have Tin Man who's out for his 3rd run. He winds his way through the first sector. His tip here, of course, is to get as close to the walls as possible without hitting them. Easily said than done, of course. Tin Man is a 10th and a half up in sector 1 as he climbs the curb at the Lowe's hairpin. And now it's important to get a good exit out of the tunnel. Bit of cars snaking out on him a bit there, so he may have lost a bit of time there for second sector. Looked like there was a few small errors in there, and Tin Man has in fact just lost connection, so that would have explained some of the problems he was having, I suspect. We've got Spud on a lap. Let's have a look at what Spud's up to on his first lap time of a session. Doesn't look like he's particularly going for it, though, I have to say. And he's already invalidated his lap, unfortunately, for Spud. So we'll go with Synchronously now. He's actually coming up to the part of the track where Spud is. Hopefully Spud will keep well out of the way. I'm sure he will. Synchronously dives into the chicane. Very nice there. Spud keeps well out of the way. Sab has opted not to do a lap, so his qualifying session is over. Synchronously is improving. With this race, he could pop himself on the first couple of rows if he can nail this last sector. Round final corner, bit of oversteer on exit, that may have cost him a bit. Synchronously was 9th, moves up to 8th on a 1:11.2. It's not quite. And Spud has actually retired from session as well. He's come into the pits and retired, so he's decided enough is enough on that one. So Sab and Spud will not be doing laps in this qualifying session. Brennon's is on a slight improvement and goes up to second. And finds a massive amount of time in the final sector. And Brennon's pops it onto the front row on a 1:10.5. And that's a nice effort indeed. Maggot is back out on track again, despite the fact that it's going to take quite an effort to improve. Malc now quickly takes that place away from him. And Nitrogash as well, so a double Red Bull whammy there. For a second there, it looks like Brennon's had got himself onto the front row, but Malc and Nitrogash have quickly knocked him down to 4th. Malc on a 1:10.4 and Nitrogash on a 1:10.5. Still the best part of 4/10ths away from Maggot's pole time, though, just showing how impressive that opening lap was. But the 2 Red Bulls are where they want to be there, right at the sharp end. Who's just starting a lap. I wonder if, let's follow Maggot round to see if he can find any more pace. Maggot's going even quicker. This is absolutely sensational. If he can find even more time, this is really going to set out a statement to the rest of the F4 field that he is the man to beat this evening. Was on a 1:09.9. He's improved to a 1:09.3. What a lap from Maggot. That's surely taken pole position, and how? A 1:09.3, that's seriously impressive from the McLaren, and he wants to follow up that win at Abu Dhabi with another one here and keeps up this sort of pace. He's going to be very tough to beat in the championship. What a lap. Let's see if Wilson in the Renault can improve. I think he made a slight mistake there. I don't think he'll be improving. Tots is one driver who I would be very surprised if he doesn't improve. He's usually got a decent amount of pace as the Alfa Romeo driver. He's coming up to traffic, hopefully that clears well out of his way. It's C. Wilson, who I believe is also on a lap, but oh no, it gets well out of the way. It may have cost him a bit of time there, though. We shall see. Tots around the final corner was 11th and moves up only to 10th above the driver he just passed on track. So Tots moves just inside the top 10 there. And Maggot's lap time is utterly sensational. We've got most drivers now out in the pit improving. None of the top 4 are out on track. The main 2 that could improve, looking to me like it will be the 2 racing points, but Tin Man's already invalidated his lap, so he won't be improving. So we'll focus on Ginger Tiger then, who's already 3/10ths up in what he managed on the first sector. Richard has improved as well now. He's gone up into 5th place on a 1:10.9, so both Mercedes showing very well here. Maggot's done with his session, and to be honest, I think a lot of drivers will be seriously worried having seen that pace. We've got some drivers pulling off to the side of a road. That's pretty well done there, I have to say. Got Trev now, who's improved his time but stays in 12th. What can Ginger Tiger do? He's probably the main one now who can improve. He's currently 8th, but with the pace he's showing, he could pop himself around between the Mercedes if he's really nailed this final sector. Ginger Tiger round the final corner then and heads for the line. Was in 8th place, goes across the line and he doesn't improve. I think he went a bit deep in the final corner. Just trying to see if we've got anyone else who's on a lap. I think Patsman might be the only one who's on a lap now. Currently in 13th. Has he got any more pace to give? Yeah, he has. His 4 temps up, and so if he can keep that pace going, he may well move himself above Trev, but it will be difficult to move up much more than that unless he really nails the final sector. Ran a bit wide there through Raskas and through Anthony Noves, and now to the line. Patsman was 13th, moves up to 12th. As suspected, he moves up just to 1 place, I'm afraid. But that is the end of qualifying, and that has been an utterly devastating session from Maggot to seal pole by over a second. What a sensational effort. Fantastic job from him. Congratulations on the pole position. The Red Bulls won't be too unhappy. 2nd and 3rd for Malc and Nitrogash. And then the 2 Mercedes cars of Brennons and Richard in 4th and 5th. I think they'll be pretty satisfied as well. We've got Tim Man in the Racing Point in 6th. Tinus is in 7th. Got Ginger Tiger in 8th. Synchronously in his final appearance before going to university is in 9th, with C. Wilson completing the top 10. And then outside the top 10 you've got Cryptox in 11th. Patsman in 12th. Trev in 13th. O'Steven in 14th. And then Sab and Spud at the back, who didn't do a lap time. It's all set up for a brilliant race here, but the question is, can anyone stop the McLaren after that qualifying session? It's going to take some beating. If he can keep it out of the walls, he looks like he's got way too much pace for most drivers here. So shout out to Brennons as well, did a good job in 4th. But it was a solid effort from him. Good to see Tinus and Ginger Tiger up there as well. I think it'd be good for them to score a good load of points tonight. You can never rule out Sab and Spud at the back. They're clearly not overly confident around here. But this is almost like survival of the fittest, this track. You've just got to keep it out of the wall. There are going to be DNFs, there's going to be shunts here tonight. You know, but keeping your concentration for 39 laps, that's going to be the key to getting a good result. But right now, it's all about maggots. It's been a long time in a tiered league race since I've seen somebody get poled by a whole second. That just shows the dominance he's had here. He just looks so at one with the track. I mean, his first lap time would have been good enough to get poled by 4 temps. He just then went out and smashed it by another 6. It's absolute devastating qualifying from him. But a race is a completely different thing, and we all know the wily pair behind him of Malc and Nitro, they'll keep him honest during this race, that there is no doubt. And it will not be long until we are underway for round 6 of the Invictus F4 League on the PS4 here at Monaco. If you want to follow and check all the latest Invictus Racing League details, you can follow at Invictus RL on Twitter. And we also, if you want to sign up, you can go to the website invictusracingleague.com, and all the sign up details will be there as well. So there's plenty of ways to get involved. And, you know, if you do want to join this league, which, you know, there potentially could be a spot opening up in the near future, then be sure to sign up. Looks like we've got a dry race ahead of us. Nobody qualified on the medium tyres, so it'll just be those outside the top 10 that have that option available to them, if they so wish. It's highly unlikely that we'll go a race here without a safety car, but it's not completely out of the question. And of course, as well, if you want to, if you're wondering where we're going to be racing next week, it will be the Canadian Grand Prix. That will be round 7 of the championship. So join us next week for the F4 League. It'll be the same time at 8 o'clock for Montreal. Round 7 should be another cracker. But we've got Monaco to focus on first. Maggot's done a great job in qualifying, but he's got to produce it now in the race as well. Let me know if you're watching your thoughts on who you think will win this race. Who are you backing to win? I won't back anyone myself, just mainly because I do have a habit of jinxing it. I don't want to jinx anybody, especially in a race like tonight where, you know, I think emotions will be running high by the end of the 39 laps. So all the cars now on the grid. It's quite a simple one-stop strategy around here, under normal race circumstances, of course. But this is certainly no ordinary race. Let's have a look then at the tyres. Those outside the top 10 have elected to start on, and it's actually a clean sweep. Everyone from 11th down to 16th, Critox down to Spud, has elected to start on the medium tyre. So going for the alternative strategy can run quite deep into the race. They so wish. They've obviously acknowledged the fact that they're going to be stuck in traffic regardless, so seen it as a bit of a waste to use a soft tyre at the start of the race. Someone says, as a fan, they're supporting Malc to win this one. As a commentator, I can say literally anyone. It's true, Monaco is probably, most races in this league are incredibly tough to predict. Hence the fact we've had 5 different winners so far in the first 5 races, but especially here tonight, it literally is anyone's. You know, there'll be a lot of drivers on this grid, I think, who will be fancying their chances if chaos ensues. Evening, Mike. Hope you are well. I hope you're going to enjoy this race with us. Got Maggott, who took pole by over a second in qualifying, a real dominating performance, but you look at some of the names around him, you get the feeling this race ain't going to be quite so easy for him. And then of course we have got those drivers outside the top 10 who may make the alternative strategy work for them as well. Some support for Tin Man too, I think, as well. Certainly for me, if there's one driver I do want to see have a good race tonight, it is Synchronously. This is his final appearance before he leaves for university, so I hope for his sake that it goes well for him. Right, so we are... Right, here we go then. The lights begin to illuminate, and when they go out, let battle commence here at Monaco. Looks like a fairly even start across the board. Maggott holds his lead well. You've got to keep it very tidy for his first opening corners. Maggott leads. Malc is still in second. Nitrogash third. The 2 Mercedes slotting behind as we climb up the hill for the first time. And we're just about trying to thread your way through. We've already got a yellow flag in sector 1. I'm not sure what that's all about. Looks like there might be an issue there for Critox further down, but it's as you were. As we come in down into the hairpin, have we got any changes for position further down? Doesn't look like, in fact, yes, we've got, oh, there's contact further behind. 2 Ferraris running into each other. Has Critox got a problem at the back, I wonder? Yeah, it looks like Critox has picked up damage. So that's a real big blow there for the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, he's lost his front wing. So Critox will be straight into the pits for a brand new nose. That's not the start he would have wanted. Absolutely not, but it is as you were at the front. Looks like there was some chain reaction going on at the hairpin, so I hope he might not be the only one that's got damage here. It's very likely that we might have more cars with damage, but it is Maggott who leads Malc, Nitrogash, as we finish the first lap now, and we've actually got a very close pairing at the moment, the Mercedes thing, although Brennan's actually started to pull away now. I wonder if we're going to have some cars in the pits. Yes, I see Wilson. Patsman is in the pits, so we've already got 2 cars in the pits for damage. So yeah, it looks like they might have been caught up at the lowest hairpin just with the closing speeds that were going on. We've got Patsman, C. Wilson, and obviously Cryptox in the pits as well. So that's 3 cars who unfortunately have got damage, as Tin Man's looking very much like he wants to get past Richard. The only major change in the top 10 of the field was that Synchronously managed to get past Ginger Tiger at the start of the race and up to 8th. That's a crucial move for him. As you can see here, gaps already starting to form throughout the field, just a second here and there. But we've got further down, we've actually got Sab, who's right on the back of Trev. As I mentioned earlier, Trev mentioned in the press conference he wasn't overly confident around here. And it was just about trying to keep out the walls for him. Disaster already for Malc. He's already got a penalty on lap 2. That's going to be really difficult for him to keep hold of. As I think we saw there, Sab runs slightly wide in his attempts to get past the thing. We've got Tin Man in the pits. So Tin Man must have picked up damage as well. That's a real disaster for the Racing Point. He had a real promising qualifying session. But he's going to have to get a new front wing fixed, and he's fitted on the medium tyres. I suspect that he's anticipated that he will have to stop again, and there probably will be a safety car at some point. But that's already 4 drivers we've got in the pits already, and we're only on lap 3, so it just shows what a race of attrition this is going to be. But it's going perfectly at the moment for Maggot. He's got a 1.2 second lead over a car who's already got a penalty, and things couldn't be working out much better for him at the moment. The top 3 are already putting out a significant advantage behind them. Brennon's now almost 3 seconds behind Nitrogash. So that's not what he would have, that's not the sort of gap he would want to let happen. We're going to go back with the battle for 10th spot now, thanks to the pit stop that was made, as Trev is still trying to fend off Sab in the AlphaTauri. Of course, it's one thing being right up behind somebody here, it's a very different thing trying to overtake, so and Sab knows that. And you can see already the 2 Ferraris are actually bunching up a little bit here. Steven falling into the clutches of his teammate, and there's already a massive gap in front of him to Ginger Tiger, so not ideal, but it's what you expect in Monaco. It just tends to be a lot of field spread as we go through the race, but there's every chance that a safety car could close that back up very quickly. Cryptox, who started on the mediums, has opted for a set of softs, so he's just going for a short stint and wanting to kind of go for it really. Oh, and Sab thinks about a move down the inside of Trev, but it just wasn't any room there. He's trying his damnedest to get through. It's so tricky around here. You are almost relying on a mistake from the car in front, but he very nearly squeezed up the inside there. Thankfully, I don't think either of them had damage due to that, but it certainly looked a bit uncomfortable for a second. So you come through this section of track, a wonderful section of track to drive. It won't feel so fun for some of these drivers at the moment, especially those that are lacking in confidence. We've got a yellow flag further down, and Sab has a massive oversteer moment and runs wide as a result. But we've got a problem here. Maggot, what's happened to Maggot? Try and find here. Maggot has got a problem. He must have hit the wall. Yeah, he's got damage on the right hand side of a front wing, and Maggot's hit the wall somewhere, and just as it looked like his race was going absolutely smoothly, he's hit the wall, and he's going to have to, he's got a long way to go to get back to the pits. He must have gone into the wall at the exit of turn 1, I suspect. Run just a bit too deep in there, and that's really cost him. So the one who looked dominant in qualifying was looking really good in the race. He has picked up damage, and that is going to be a long way back to the pits. It's the last place you want to get damage, because you know it's going to be a long road back to the pits from there. And fair play to him, he'd be very tempted there to just straight line the chicane as Tin Man picks up a penalty further behind. But Maggot there, oh, he'll be devastated. He knows how much pace he's got, but he also got to think what the pace he's got, as we've got another yellow flag set to free. Is that just Maggot? Or is that something else going on, I wonder? Maggot will come into the pits. It's a sad sight to see for the McLaren team. They know how quick he was this evening. That's what we didn't need. What's he going for? He's going for a set of the hard tyres, so... Well, he's thinking if there isn't a safety car, I want a set of tyres that will get me to the end of this one. And that should definitely ensure that that's the case. But he's got a lot of work to do from there. He should rejoin in 13th, I believe. Where's C. Wilson just coming around the final corner? Wow, look at the train. There's a few cars here. He needs... It's absolutely vital that Maggot gets out in front of these lot for his race. He absolutely cannot afford to be behind them, and he's not. That's really crucial for Maggot now, so he can try and get the hammer down and rescue this situation. Of course, now that means, in regards to the race at the front, Malc has a 2-second lead now over teammate Nitrogash. We've got Brennan's up to third now in the Mercedes with his teammate Richard behind, so it's a Red Bull 1-2 followed by a Mercedes 3-4. But of course, let's not forget Malc does have a penalty, and what's happened further down? Looks like we've got Trev. Oh, Trev's had a spin. Trev's had a spin at the chicane just following the tunnel. He's got a penalty as well for multiple warnings just to conclude. I don't think he's got damage, but I wonder if he just hit the wall there. And speaking of hitting the wall, has synchronously... Yeah, synchronously's picked up damage as well. So synchronously in the pits for hard tyres. And getting a change of front wing there. So we've seen already many drivers struggling to cope with the demands of Monaco. It's one of those. Trev is in the pits, so obviously he must have collected some sort of damage. It looks like his front wing was mostly intact, but not to be. He's pitted. You can see already, just look at that, like only the top 9 have not pitted yet, so we've got 7 of the 16 cars have already been in the pits. And well, this must be a Red Bull dream right now, the way this race is going. Let's have a look then. There's still a battle going on for 7th spot. We've got Osteven, Sab and Spud. Not the quickest drivers here tonight. I think they'll be the first to admit that, but they've just taken advantage of what's been going on around them. However, they are going to have Tin Man joining this scrap soon as well, so quite a train here developing behind the Ferrari, and that's going to be a tricky little train to navigate for him. Of course, this circuit, you can so easily get into the rhythm, but just as easily it can snap you back out of it. And we've got Tin Man now, who's trying to get a move done on Spud. We're going to see a potential overtake here at Monaco, and he goes into Spud. Oh, and Spud has gone round, and that will be damage on the Williams for sure. There's no way he would have got away with that damage, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, I think he's got a bit of damage. Yeah, he has got damage on the right hand side of the front, or the left hand side of the front wing rather. So yeah, not ideal for him at all. As we know, it's so difficult to get a move done here. It did almost feel like... Has Malc got damage, or did he let his teammate through? I wonder what's gone on there. Has Malc made a mistake, got damage, or... Yeah, he has. He wasn't letting his teammate through. He's made a mistake somewhere. And Malc is the latest driver to be caught out there. So Malc now into the pits for a set of medium tyres. Yeah, going back to the Spud Tin Man incident quickly, I don't really see why Spud kept his nose in there, to be honest. It looked like Tin Man was a quicker driver. It looked like he had the higher ground at that point. I think it was just better for Spud at that point to accept the move as were done. It was never going to work for him keeping his nose in there. And Spud will know that in hindsight and reflection. He's a very vastly experienced racer. Maybe a moment of frustration, perhaps, we don't know. But yeah, I don't think there was any portion to blame there for Ginger Tiger's in the wall now. So Ginger Tiger went down the escape road, I believe. He tried to make the corner but couldn't do so. We've got Cryptox and C. Wilson back in the pits as well, so they've collected more damage. And well, this is incredible so far. Ginger Tiger, I don't think he actually hit the wall. I think he just opted out with the corner in the end. Decided he wasn't going to make it and decided it was better to go down the escape road and have a crash, which is actually not a bad shout. Oh, and we've got a yellow flag down in sector 2. What's going on now? Sab, I believe, has had a moment somewhere. We can pick up Sab. Yeah, Sab's got damage. We got a virtual safety car. And if anyone does want to make a pit stop, now is not a bad time. Yeah, so we've got the front wing lost on Tin Man. So Tin Man lost his nose, and Sab, I think, Sab has got damage too. So he'll be in the pits as well. And we've got Spud, who's also in the pits. So a lot of these drivers who have collected damage actually can benefit from this virtual safety car. I was about to say, let's quickly look at the battle here that's raging for third place, because Tinnis has really caught up to Richard at the moment, and he's really putting pressure on that Mercedes. This would be an incredible haul of points for a Mercedes team that haven't had a bad season, but also haven't had a great one either, so I don't want to put any sort of jinx on it, but it's looking pretty good for them at the moment. But we've seen already just how many accidents have happened. This race is far from over. We've already had 3 different leaders. Maggot had the lead early on, looked unstoppable in qualifying, and then he had an off and lost his front wing. Nitrogash is in the pits. That actually could be a scheduled stop. It could be the first pit stop we've seen where the front wing's not getting repaired, and it is indeed. So on to hard tyres. He comes out now. Brennon's is in the pits as well, as is... Oh no. Oh, it's an absolute disaster. There's no doubt about it. Richard will have lost time there. No question about it. Richard will have lost a few seconds there. It's not as much of a disaster as I first thought, but an interesting difference in strategy there. Brennon's has gone into hards, Richard has gone for mediums. So it seems like there's quite a difference in strategy from drivers. Some preferring the mediums and some going for the hards. Now Malc went for mediums a little bit sooner, so it's going to be a real tough task for him to stay out in front, but he's now back into the provisional lead, as it were, and he technically, rules saying anyway, doesn't actually have to stop again, but it's going to be tough to keep those tyres going to the end. And he's already made one mistake, so he'll be keen not to repeat it. Richards come out in P6 then behind Osteven. I think if he hadn't been held up by his teammate during the pits, I think he would have actually been ahead of this car, so it's crucial for Richards' race that he doesn't get held up here behind the Ferrari, because I think he quite clearly is quicker than him. This could cost him a lot of time if he can't get a move done quickly. We've got Tinnis out there who's continuing on the soft tyres, so he's quite happy at the moment doing what he's doing. And then, as we say, we've got 2 Red Bulls followed by Brennon's. We've got another trainer car. It does seem like Osteven's having quite a few trainer cars behind him at various stages of the race. The latest one features Richard, Sink and Maggot. So Maggot's trying to recover after that unfortunate front wing loss at the first corner. And look at him there, he's having a quick look at getting past synchronously, but it wasn't really worth it. Of course, Mike, I completely agree. No broken wings and patience. That's the key around here. But it's so easier said than done. And especially for those drivers like Maggot, who had such a good qualifying, who were looking so good, to now find themselves in this pack. It's very easy to just think, oh, I'm going to send one up the inside. As Tinnis is the final person. Oh, he's not the final person to make a stop, actually. Osteven is still going from the start as well. Actually, no, he's not. Osteven is not still going from the start. So, yeah, Tinnis is literally the... No, Osteven is. Yeah, my bad. My apologies, of course. Yeah, so Osteven's the only one left now on mediums. But, of course, Tinnis started on soft tyres. So that's a really good stint from him. Where's he going to rejoin? That's the key. He rejoins in P4 ahead of that train of cars. So that's worked out quite beautifully for the AlphaTauri there. And he's rejoining some lovely clear air. And... he's quite quietly going about his business, but at the moment he's looking very, very good for a good haul of points here. And for his sake, he'll be hoping that this Ferrari just continues to hold people up. Of course, he's not a lapped car, he's under no obligation to move out of the way, but there's no question about it, the cars behind him are a lot quicker. But this is the beauty of Monaco, of course. Track position is everything. You might be a few seconds a lap slower, but if you've got track position, it's very difficult with drivers behind to make an impression unless you make a mistake. You can see how close they are to him through there, but it just isn't a way through, and this of course is a point where if you're a driver in this train, it's very, very easy to just clip your nose against the car in front, because of course your braking spots might be different to the car in front. Tinus has had a lot of bad luck this season. He has at times showed excellent pace, but things haven't quite worked out for him. I remember the season opener at France, he was looking really, really strong, but things just didn't work out for him. It would be good to see him get a good haul of points here. But look at it, just one lap, they've lost 4 seconds to Tinus in front, due to the fact they're being held up by the Ferrari of Steven, who is continuing to cause a train. And look at Synchronously, he's thinking of a cheeky move there. They're going to go side by side to the hairpin. Oh, what? Oh, Richards tried to go down the inside and there's a traffic jam at the hairpin. Oh, thankfully he ghosted. That was a bit messy, and I've got to be honest, that's not great from Richard there. He was alongside Synchronously. Those two were battling. I don't really know, like Richard, unless he forgot his braking spot. But it's a very clumsy manoeuvre, and it was never going to end in any other way than the way it ended. Synchronously and Maggot may just have got through it unscathed, which is the good news for them, but Steven and Richard definitely haven't. Yeah, those two can now set off in their own race, but look at the gap that between Tinus and Sync now, 11.5 seconds, as Steven pits, and he won't be happy. He's done nothing wrong from his side, just driving his own race, and he will feel very hard done by there, and I can't say I blame him. Richard pits as well, both of them will have damage. Steven can now at least go onto the hard tyres, and it should be very simple from there. Malc has got some excellent pace, I have to say, at this stage of the race. He's got a 9-second advantage over teammate Nitrogas, so even if he does have to stop again, he's going to get to a point potentially where he can build such a big enough lead that he'll come out, ooh, maybe P3 still. So Malc's not in too bad of a shape at the moment, and Red Bull themselves are looking like they're in a very, very good spot indeed. Now this is a case of another driver who's probably out of position compared to the cars he's racing against. We've got Tin Man on the back of Sab and Spud. Hopefully it ends a little bit better than the last time we saw drivers battling that were probably out of position. Timmer not actually getting too close to the back at the moment. They're all roughly on the same age of tyres, although Sab is on the hard compound tyre. We got Maggot who's thinking, oh, Maggot trying to make a move on Synchronously. Oh, looking at going side by side. Oh, and that's a lovely overtake there from Maggot. It's not easy to get moves done around here, but fair play to Maggot. He's made it stick on Synchronously, and he's now got some excellent clear air to run into. And we saw how quick he was during qualifying, so Maggot now can really get the hammer down, back up to 5th place, and it's looking good for at least some good damage limitation after what happened earlier. The one big surprise here, I have to say, is that we do currently still have all 16 cars running. All the way down to Cryptox, who unfortunately finds himself at the back. I think he's had to make a number of pit stops, which has ultimately really affected him. But nevertheless, all the cars still running. And I think we're about to see, even more annoyingly for Rich's case, he's going to have to pass the Ferrari all over again. Not sure this is who Steven would want to be fighting after what just happened. But Richard thinks about it into the chicane, but not close enough on this occasion. You can see just how close he's running to him. He wants to get the move done. It's just really tricky. Oh, and Sab's out of the race. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Sab is out of a race. I'm trying to see what's happened there. Is he retired in the pits? Let's just see if I can find out for you. Yeah, Sab's retired in the pits. So no crash there. Just so that explains why there's not like a safety car or anything like that. But yeah, Sab is our first retirement of the day. We have lost a driver. And now we've got Ginger Tiger, who was closing up to the back of Patsman, but he just has lost a little bit of time. Malc's leading out to 12 seconds at the front. But as I've said, it's very likely he will have to stop again. Shout out to, well, I think all the top four really deserve a shout out. They've all driven pretty good races so far. Just here, Malc's had to pit for damage. It's not even that bad for him either. We've got Spud in the pits. Has he got damage, or is it scheduled? Well, he's only done 7 laps on the mediums, so I'm suspecting this will be for a change of front wing. Yeah, he's got. I don't think he's got a front wing left actually. So Spud in for a set of hards, new front wing, and he will hope for his sake now he can go to the end of a race on those. Go back to this battle for P8. Patsman's been on those medium tyres now for 16 laps, so he's sort of coming to the end of his life on those tyres now. Of course, he made a pit stop very early on. He was one of the drivers, I think, who collected damage in the opening couple of laps, so that's the reason why ultimately he will have to make another stop. And I think he made a good shout, to be honest. I don't think putting hards on lap 2 is a bit of a pointless exercise here. You might as well go for the mediums, which will be quicker. This pace on him isn't that bad, to be fair. Speaking of pace, Maggot's showing a lot of it now. He's already pulled 5 seconds on synchronously. But he's not really bridging the gap to Tinnis as much as he may have wanted to. And we've still got this battle raging between Osteven and Richards now, unfortunately for them, only over 12th place. Richards' race is, he'll think this race has been ruined by this Ferrari, but he of course was partly to blame himself for this incident here at the hairpin. I'm sure he'll acknowledge that. Synchronously picks up a penalty. And well, this is a problem now as well. These two are battling, but they're about to be caught by the race leader, Malc, so they will need to get out of the way soon, as we've got Synchronously, who is in the pits. Oh, and Synchronously's got damage. That's why Synchronously pitted. He's going on to mediums. He'll be able to get those to the end, but yeah, he needed to repair more front wing damage. The Alfa Romeo driver, he's going to rejoin comfortably in 9th place, so not too bad there. Oh, and look at this! Oh, bit of contact. It looks like there, but it looks like Richard's going to get the move done. They're going side by side up to turn 1. Oh, and Osteven fighting it off for all he's worth. He just cannot get the move done, the Mercedes. His race was looking so strong, but it just all seems to have fallen apart for him at the moment, and he just cannot get this 12th place. He's trying to look down the inside. It's quite clear that Osteven is just not willing to allow him through. He's absolutely determined to hold on to his place. He will know, of course, that this is effectively 4th position now, so he has no obligation to let him through. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. What's going on here? Is it Ginger Tiger, I wonder, perhaps, who's had an issue? No. But we've got a few drivers in the pits. Brennon's pitted. I wonder if that was for damage or is that scheduled? I'm not too sure. Patsman, more understandably, is in the pits as well. I'm not too sure. It might have been Spud, actually, who had an issue. Patsman makes his, that was definitely a scheduled pit stop for him. Oh, and look, Richard now under crack from Cryptox, so his frustrations might just be about to increase. Because he might not have to look ahead of him for too much longer, he might have to look in his mirrors as well. I think Brennan's must have pitted for damage. It doesn't make any sense to have pitted at this stage. So I think Brennan's must have hit the wall somewhere. But he's still in a good spot. He's come out in 5th place and he can get those tyres to the end as long as he doesn't pick up any more damage. Look at this train here. This is quite incredible, I think, at this stage of the race as Richard again tries a move. It's just not working for him. Oh, and he now hits the Ferrari coming into the Lowe's hairpin. This is getting a little bit clumsy now from Richard. He can't make the move stick at the moment and it's really costing him. Of course, these drivers are now a lap down after letting Malc through. Only good thing for them is that Malc most likely will have to come in the pits again. Tinnis is doing a good job as well. He's only 3 seconds behind Nitrogash in the battle for second. And if anything, he's starting to gain in on Nitrogash a bit, so that battle could very much rage on later on in this race. Further ahead we've got C. Wilson on the back of Trev for the final points paying position. I believe that's Patsman they've got just in front of him. So Patsman, after making his final stop, has come out in 9th place, which is pretty decent actually. A few drivers ahead of him. I think the 2 racing points will probably have to pit again potentially. So he's not in a bad spot there. Got a yellow flag in sector 3. Trying to see what that's about. We've got Synchronously in the pits. So Synchronously, I think he must have collected yet more damage. Oh, this final race for Sync is going from bad to worse. And he's getting his front wing repaired. He's going on to another set of mediums. That must be his last set. Oh, and that's dropped him out the points. It would be a real shame if he ended his Invictus career for now without any points in this final race. But he's down to 14th now, and it's going to be tough running from him. He's going to have to try and make something of that. We've got a yellow flag now in sector 1. What on earth's happened there? I think there must have been some contact further up the road. Yeah, there is. Richard has lost some of his front wing, and I've got to be honest, that's been coming for a number of laps. It's sort of been a matter of when and not if. And Richard's going to have to come into the pit surely. His race is going from bad to worse. But I tell you what, this battle for second's really getting interesting now. Oh! No, it's not anymore. It's gone wrong. Just as it looked like Tinnis was really starting to catch Nitrogash for second spot, he's gone into the wall. And oh, it's a real shame. He will have to stop now for sure. It won't drop him too far down the order, possibly to 5th, but he was really looking good at challenging Nitrogash then, but maybe perhaps just got a bit too carried away with the thought of that happening as Tin Man pits. Tin Man must have also collected damage. I'll see if I can find out for you. Yeah, he's just coming out now. I think he must have. We've got a lot of drivers in the pits here, so has there been a massive collision somewhere? Yeah, Steven must have collected damage too. Rich C. Wilson's in the pits again. That might be scheduled in his case. Well, yeah, we've got Tinnis in the pits now, so let's see what he does. He goes into another set of mediums. He's just getting the front wing changed now. And it's looking good here for... If Malc pits now, he's going to rejoin in second place. And he's only going to have Nitrogash in front of him, and you can imagine if those two get too close, they probably aren't going to fight too much, because Malc will just have significantly better tyres, and of course Red Bull have emphasised it is all about getting the constructors here. Obviously they'd like to win the drivers as well, but the constructors is the key, sir. And if Malc keeps going at the speed he's going at, he may be able to pit and rejoin ahead of him anyway. Ginger Tiger pits as well. Tinnis does rejoin in P5, so not too damage lost. Will Maggot be able to get to the end on those tyres? 30, 31, 32 laps on hards. It's going to be touch and go. He'll be hoping that he can. We've got Cryptots in the pits now as well. Is he yet another driver that's had to repair his front wing? I think potentially yes. So that puts Synchronously back into the points, and in fact Synchronously himself is... oh no, there's more contact, and that's some Alfa Romeo front wing gone again. Synchronously hits the back of Tin Man, and his eagerness to get up to 9th place, he may very well have to visit the pits again. So easily done. You really want to recover, but Synchronously's now got past Tin Man, so I wonder, did Tin Man collect damage too, or was he just simply letting him by? I'm not too sure. Now Tin Man looks like his front wing's mostly okay. Malc makes that long-awaited stop. Has he gained enough of a lead to leapfrog his teammate? That's the question. And if he hasn't, what will Red Bull do? Let's see where Nitro Gash is. He's just coming around the last corner. I tell you what here, Malc might have this, you know. This is going to be super close. This is going to be really, really close. Nitro Gash has just got it on the pit exit. So this is the interesting thing now. Do Red Bull let them race and risk messing up a 1-2, or do they let the quicker driver go? This is down to the two drivers as well. What will Nitro Gash do? What will Malc do? We've got yellow flag in sector 3. It's gone now, so I think someone may have gone into the wall around maybe turn 1 or just the last corner actually. Oh, there we go. We've got a racing point in the wall. That was Tin Man, who has found himself in the wall. Or was it Ginger Tiger? I'm not too sure. No, this definitely was Tin Man. Tin Man has dropped down to 10th and is going to have to pit as well, I imagine. More drivers struggling with the track at the moment, but these two are absolutely fighting tooth and nail, and based on the early stages at least, as Synchronously makes yet another pit stop. I'm actually interested to see how many stops some of these guys have made. Synchronously has actually retired in the pit lane. Oh, that's not the way he would have wanted his Invictus career to end, or at least for now anyway. Hopefully we will see him back in the future. But it's just been a frustrating race for him, and that he becomes our second retirement of the day, as Malc is stalking the back of his teammate. He's showing his teammate there. He wants to get past. What do Red Bull do here? They're in such a good position with a 1-2. We've seen in the past things have gone wrong between Red Bull drivers in this sort of situation before. Remember Istanbul 2010. Remember Baku in 2017. Or sorry, 2018 rather. You know, it can get very heated in that Red Bull garage. The problem is for them at the moment, the fastest driver is the one in second. But at the same time, Nitro Gash will insist he has no obligation to move over. Cryptots has made 4 stops. We've got many drivers who have made 3. It shows just what of a race of attrition there's been, certainly in terms of replacing front wings. No doubt about it. And look again, right behind him. Is this going to be his opportunity? No, he ducks back underneath. Malc is desperate to get through. We've got C. Wilson in the pits after just 3 laps on the medium, so that will be yet another front wing change for the Renault driver. I think that's his 4th stop of the race. Maggot 10 seconds behind and gaining. Can Malc start to make the argument to his team that, you know, if they don't let him release him soon, they are going to come under threat from the McLaren. That might be one argument he's trying to push forward here. This is such a tricky situation for Red Bull to be in, and the drivers too. Nitrogas will want to win this race. He'll be desperate to win. He will make a case, of course, that, you know, Malc made the mistake early on, I didn't, and this is why we are in the order that we're in. Malc trying to get a great exit out the final corner to make the move on his own. He's thinking, well, if I don't need, I could just get past him on the track, and the two Red Bulls going side by side, and again, Malc just backs out of it. We've got the yellow flag in sector 2 now. We've got a Ferrari, I think that's Osteven who's got a problem. Quickly see there, yeah, he's... Oh, it doesn't look like he's got too much damage. It looks like he might have had a bit of an off-Tin Man back in the pits as well. So drivers further down are struggling at the moment, just to, as we get into the latter stages of this race, of course, concentration and focus can start to slip in the latter stages of these sort of races, you know, your street tracks like Monaco and Singapore. You know, especially if you've been racing on your own, I find if you've not really had anyone to battle with, that's when you think you're at the most vulnerable, because you really have nothing to keep you alert. And this is one of those tracks I think you do sort of have to drive with commitment, because the second you lose that commitment and focus is the more likely you are to hit something. And well, these two at the front are certainly driving with that, no doubt about it. Nitrogas has made it perfectly clear he is not letting Malc through. If Malc wants to get this race win, he's going to have to get past him on the track. You feel like even if Nitrogas has maybe, or Malc has a few more penalties, you get the feeling if he can get through, he can get the gap that he needs. But he's running out of time, and he's sort of running out of opportunities as well. He's trying everywhere, look at that. That's an unusual line. Indeed, but he just isn't making it stick at the moment. Maggot is gaining, but I don't think he's gaining quickly enough for Malc to really make that point. But they are under threat of losing the 1-2 if they don't swap. Of course, Malc's a sensible driver. He will go for the win if he can, but he also won't take any unnecessary risks. Of course, this is perfect for the constructors. Red Bull already had a 4-point lead over Alfa Romeo coming into this. As it stands, Alfa Romeo are just going to pick up the 2 points, whereas Red Bull will be picking up 27, so this as it stands is going absolutely fantastically. From a team's point of view, it's just all about what driver is going to come out on top. This looks like the most likely opportunity down the pit straight for Malc. Is he going to be close enough? He's going to go to the inside. Does Nitrogas fight him off? No, he doesn't. Malc has the inside line to turn 1. Nitrogas didn't fight him off too much, but did he hit the wall there on the exit? Oh, he may have brushed the wall there if he's not... Has he got away with it? Not too sure. I think he may well have done. That would have been a bit clumsy if he'd made the overtake and then got damage. But I think he's okay, as Tin Man does the fastest lap of the race on a 1:12.6. And he's currently in the points paying position, so that will be an extra point for fastest lap. I think Malc's got away with it absolutely fine. He's already pulling well clear of Nitrogas, and it's all about now, can he sort of get the gap he needs, just in case penalties do come into it come the end of a race. The other question that's crossed my mind is this man here in Maggot in 3rd place. He's now been on those hard tyres for 26 laps. Can he get to the end on them? It's definitely possible. The hard tyres around here go a long, long way. But you can imagine it won't be in the best of states, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 3, and we've got a Ferrari in the wall. That's Osteven, who's in the wall. He's now down at the back of the field in 14th, and his race not going well. Oh no, it's Trev actually. It's Trev. My apologies to Osteven there. Trev, who's actually was in the wall with massive gaps down. We're almost getting confused as to who is where on the track. But Trev, it was in the wall, and that's really cost him. He was running up in 8th place, I believe. But that damage has actually put him outside the points. He will now rejoin in P11. Malc's not really pulling away as much as you'd think he would do. Has Malc picked up damage again? I'm almost certain there might be something wrong here with Malc because his pace has dipped. Is he going to need to pit again? Yeah, something's not right there. Malc's picked up damage. Malc has picked up damage. What's he going to do? Is he going to carry on? Yes, he is. Something's... yeah, he's not going at the pace you would expect him to go at. So I think even if it's just light damage, I think he's definitely picked up a little bit. He'll just try and keep it going, I believe, now for the rest of the race. There's no... from his position, there's probably not much point in pitting. So, yeah, he'll try and carry on and nurse that car to the end. That could potentially give Nitrogash the win here. Because I think Nitrogash may have less penalties than him. I could be wrong on that one, but I believe so. Does Brennan smell a podium opportunity here? We've got 5.5 laps to go. He is 6 seconds behind Maggot, who is on very old hard tyres now. Does Brennan's think that a podium could happen here? Because it's definitely not out of the realms of possibility. Looking further down, Tinnis has done a really good job. He's currently in 5th. We've got Ginger Tiger in 6th, Patsman in 7th. We've got Cryptox running in 8th, Timman 9th, and then we got Richard in the final points paying position despite the many adventures he's had this evening. Amazingly, still just the 2 retirements, and those were both in the pit lane. None of them were crashing out on track. Synchronously and Sab are 2 DNFs tonight so far. Yeah, Malc's definitely got some minor damage. You would expect he would be pulling away from Nitrogash with the fact he's on 16 lap younger tyres, and the fact I think he was just genuinely a bit quicker anyway. We've got another yellow flag in sector 3. What's all that about? I think we've got a train of cars here. Oh, and it's Spud in the pits. So Spud, I think, has either hit somebody or hit the wall somewhere, and that would have been the reason for the yellow flag. So Spud is in for what is his 3rd stop. Currently got 4 as the most. That's Cryptox, Timman and C. Wilson. A massive respect to Cryptox and Timman for being in the points, despite the fact they have done 4 stops. That's quite incredible, really. Let's go back to the leading pair. Mike believing that Malc should release Nitrogash. Maggot getting closer and closer. I don't know, but I don't think Nitrogash is necessarily being held up by him. He's not clambering over the back of him in the same way that Malc was to him earlier on. So, although Malc has a bit of damage, I don't think Nitrogash is necessarily quicker. I just think Maggot's coming back at the pair of them, and in fact, I think Brennan's in 4th. He's lapping quicker than all of them. So quite similar to what we've seen in a couple of real-life Monaco races recently. The cars slower down are almost catching the leaders. It's one of those things that sometimes happens around Monaco. So it's going to be an interesting finale for sure, but Nitrogash for me just doesn't look like he's close enough to Malc. I think if he was closer, I do think Malc would have let him through. But for me, Nitrogash just looks like he's struggling as much, and of course they may just be okay because they are running out of laps, although that penalty for Malc is not going to help him because he could drop even more positions now, as we see a Haas there run slightly too wide there. Patsman in 7th place who's been lapped. So that shows just what a race of attrition it's been. Only the top 6 drivers are on the lead lap at the moment. And I'm interested to see Brennan's here because he's definitely closing in on Maggot, and you have to say it's not a surprise because Maggot's tyres now will really be starting to feel old, very much second hand. Nitrogash's as well won't be feeling particularly great. Brennan's has a real chance of a podium here. Tinnis will be ruining that mistake, because I tell you what, if it wasn't for hitting the wall when he was just getting up to the back of Nitrogash. I think there's every reason to suspect Tinnis could have won this race. What have we got? Have we got a... Is that Patsman in the wall? I think he was just letting somebody through. I was just trying to see what was going on there. Like somebody may well have gone off there or gone into a wall, but it looks like it may just have been for the fact that someone's slowing down to let somebody through. Obviously, as a lapped car, I think you're ghosted anyway, so I don't think there was any need for Patsman to pull over for that, but nevertheless he did. Gap's just starting to spread out again. Oh, Malc is actually now really starting to put... Nitrogash, has he picked up damage? I think Nitrogash has got some damage, you know, because he's really losing time now. He's lost a lot of time to Malc and he's losing time to Maggot. So Nitrogash has hit the wall or hit another car somewhere. And all of a sudden, Nitrogash's second place does not look safe at all. So this may look like a simple Red Bull 1-2, but with Malc's penalties and Nitrogash's woes with his front wing damage, this potentially could still end up being a Maggot win. This would be quite sensational if there isn't a Red Bull on the top step of the podium. The one thing that could help Malc here is that Nitrogash could potentially hold up Maggot. I don't think he's doing that on purpose at all, because I don't think Nitrogash would do that anyway, and B, I don't think it'd really be worth the risk. I just think the damage is really slowing him down as Malc is about to start his final lap of the race. And look here, Maggot is right up behind Nitrogash. Look at the overspeed Maggot's got. He's going to go trying down the inside at turn 1. Oh, they collide! Oh, Nitrogash has got into the wall! Maggot gets second, but Nitrogash goes into the wall. I don't think he'll be too happy about that. Brennon's now, but look, Brennon's might have hit the back of Nitrogash as well. Drama unfolding here on the final lap of the race as Brennon's goes down the inside of Nitrogash. There's not really enough room there. Nitrogash will not want to lose third place as well. Oh, and that carnage there could potentially have just helped Malc keep the win here. Be very interesting to see, but Maggot tried to get down the inside of Nitrogash. There just wasn't enough room for two cars, and Nitrogash went into the wall. And look here, Brennon's trying to get third. He's surely got too much speed under braking. Yes, he has. So Brennon's up into third place, and I think for the podium that might be a good thing, because I'm not sure Maggot and Nitrogash would want to speak to each other after that. We shall see, of course. But Malc round the final corner, he's going to come, and Malc takes the win, provisionally at least, in the Monaco Grand Prix. The Invictus F4 League PS4 Monaco Grand Prix is won by Malc. He holds on. That drama on the final lap has effectively helped him keep the lead. Maggot second, Brennon's third, Nitrogash only gets fourth after all that. Tinnis is in fifth. We've got Patsman, Tinman and Cryptox who have already crossed the line, and Richard too. And we're now just looking at Ginger Tiger, who is having a very, very lonely race, it has to be said. But I don't think he'll mind that. It's a very nice haul of points here for the Racing Point driver. He's going to take P6. He can literally coast this to the line. He doesn't have to take any risks at all. And in fact, I think that's exactly what he's doing. But it's Malc that takes the win in a dramatic ending to the Monaco Grand Prix. Malc becomes the first driver in F4 this season to win 2 races. That's his second win of the season. And, well, that's the ending of that. I mean, in terms of a driver of the day, I'll wait to see who the game gives it to. I'm quite interested to see who the game does give it to. It gives it to Patsman. Okay. It's a really tough one for me. Who I'd give it the driver of the day to. For me, I'm actually going to say Brennon's is going to be my driver of the day. I thought Brennon's did a really solid job. Had good pace throughout, good consistency. Didn't seem to really get involved in too much, and I think he did deserve his place on the podium because of that. Obviously, Malc Maggot also did an excellent job, as did Nitrogash, but for me, Brennon's just did a very, very solid effort. for me, and I think around Monaco, that's all you can really ask for. So yeah, for my driver of the day, it will be Brennan's. But yeah, many standout performances there. Tinus as well, I think deserves a good shout. Like I said, if it wasn't for that collision against the wall when he was catching Nitrogash, it could have been Tinus standing on the top step of the podium tonight. But yeah, many drivers tonight will be, I think, a little bit frustrated that they perhaps didn't get a bit more out of it, but I think that's the traditional Monaco feeling. What I'll do is I'll try and get the podium sitters into the chat and speak to them about the race. So that's all the podium sitters invited. Going to hopefully we'll have some interviews to give you very shortly. Yeah, so guys, if you could just make sure you have your audio settings set to always share, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And we'll start with Malc, seen as a race leader, race winner rather. He's already here. Malc, congratulations on the win. You're the first person in F4 to win 2 races this season. Just sum up your feelings after that one.
Absolutely relieved, but gutted that Nitro didn't join us in the podium here tonight. I don't know what happened with him at the back. Like, I think there was something going on between him and Maggot. I don't know, but it would have loved. I was challenging him for I wanted him to keep up with me because I had damage from wing on the second stint. That's why he came up closer to me, like within a second or two. But I'm delighted to win. Don't get me wrong, but I think it would have been a different story if like Maggot did not slip. Well, did not slip. Sorry, not the word there. Did not spun at turn 1 in the first few laps.
Obviously, you had your own. I think did you have your own incident against the wall during the first stint? When you had that, did that sort of set you back for the race? Were you sort of not expecting a win from that point?
No, to be honest, I will be honest with that. Considering Maggot was over a second in qualifying, I did not expect to get a podium, let alone a win here tonight. And Monaco's one of those toughest tracks ever. But like I said, well done to the podium of Maggot and Brennan's. Obviously, until Stuart says otherwise, but well done to those guys as well. It's been a good race for those as well.
Obviously, as well, you picked up. I seem to remember you picked up a penalty on lap 2. Was there a lot of early race nerves going on?
You've read my mind, mate, with that. Absolutely read my mind. When I got the penalty, I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to keep... Somehow, don't ask me how, I managed to keep it on. But then I just panicked the last few laps when I got the second penalty, so I had to like press harder than ever before on there, so that's what's happened.
Was there any communication going on between you and Nitro in that last stint? Obviously you were behind him, but obviously on much quicker tyres. Was there any communication between the pair of you to either swap positions or anything like that?
No, we as I said before, when we was battling out like in Zandvoort and like other tracks as well, if the other driver's quicker than you, you know, go for it, you know what I mean, as well. But we battled it out and respected each other as always, and I think we got a bit more points for the Red Bull team as well, for the constructors, which I really wanted Nitro to get in the podium here tonight because we deserve like the 1-2 tonight.
And just looking ahead to the next race, a very different track, of course, Montreal. What are your thoughts heading into that one?
Canada is one of those famous tracks, but it's always a deadly track with penalties as well, so I have to keep my mind off it on the last chicane as well. It's one of those famous tracks where you have to long straights and lots of overtaking. Let's see what happens on there. I'm just taking it each race as it comes, as I said before to you, mate, with that.
No worries, congratulations again on the win. And we'll move on to Brennan's now, who took his first podium of the season. Again, some of your thoughts after that. I'll mention already that you had a lot of support in the chat, so you must be happy with that result.
Hiya, yeah. It's okay. I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity for more, really. I'm just frustrated myself for having to pit for an extra wing. Okay, I'll just say happy birthday to my mum if she's watching this. It's today.
Happy birthday, Brennan's mum! Happy birthday!
Cheers, Malc, and congrats for winning, Malc.
Nice one.
Yeah, a bit frustrated because with my my hit of the wall to have to pit, so it could have been more. But a podium's pretty good nonetheless.
What was going through your mind when you saw what was unfolding on the last lap between Maggot and Nitrogash?
I was watching myself catch up with Maggot. He must have had a bit of damage, so I was concentrating on Maggot, and I thought that the other car in front was a ghost, someone we were lapping. So it wasn't until I tapped into the back of Nitro that I realised that was actually Nitro, and yeah, just thought go for it down the through the tunnel and try and get him on the little turn down there, which I managed to do. So yeah, I was chuffed to get a podium just at the end there. It's brilliant.
A fourth and a third in the last two races. Has there been any sort of secret into your recent upturn in form?
No, I've just been unlucky beforehand, I think. No, just a bit more practice as well these last few weeks, and I like Monaco, so I get a bit of practice in for Monaco. But yeah, so hopefully this will continue.
And again, looking ahead to Montreal, what are your hopes for that one?
I'm not too great at Montreal, so just a podium would be amazing, and let's just see what happens. But yeah, just keep getting the points in to try and get back up the table.
No worries at all. Congratulations on the podium, and also congratulations because I did vote for you as my driver of the day.
Ah, thanks very much. Thanks.
No worries.
Double whammy from Brendan.
And a happy birthday to your mum as well.
Thanks for that. She'll love that.
So yeah, that's doesn't look like Maggot's going to join us tonight. So I think that's it for the podium interviews. I'll let the guys get off because I can understand after 39 laps of Monaco they're probably absolutely exhausted. And yeah,
thanks, mate. With that, we definitely need that.
We will catch you next week for round 7 at Montreal. Until then, my name's been Jake, and we'll catch you on the flip side.